Hello everybody, welcome on back to another brand new video. Today's video is, before we start by the way, is I actually want to talk about something that I basically am gonna probably had never said anything about likely, is that, okay, so before I was about to say something, is that I wanted to say is about the movie. So, the movie was called Misery. Well, let me tell you about that. So, I gotta say, about that movie that I watched, whenever it was like the night of whatever that I've watched something like whatever, it's like the one time I've watched it. Well, here's my explanation, is that the movie is garbage. You want to know why it's garbage? Well, it's because there are so many fucking reasons why the movie is shit. Complete horrible. Like, why is it horrible all of a sudden? Well, I'll say is this. Why it's horrible? It's because it's stupid. Because, the movie itself never made any sense. Like, seriously, can anybody please tell me, in God's green earth, is why did the movie ever completely went so lame that it never even went scary? Like, seriously, how is the movie scary? It never made me feel like, oh, I'm so terrified. I think I'm so scared. Well, I'll tell you this, is that the movie, like I said, I gave it 2 out of 10, which went dog shit. Because, seriously, do I really think I ever had cared about that movie? No. It should have been very different of the Misery movie. It should have been really completely satisfying. That would have been completely better in my lively interest. But now I get to hear, oh, we're gonna hear something corny, or hear something a little bit stupid. Well, both both of the actors completely were dog crap. Literally. And a few of the people were, especially the sheriff, that I think he was kind of been based for a bit, as I could agree to the sheriff, that he, on the other hand, was at least doing a better job. Sure, he may be old and a bit of his wisdom, but I think he did a very okay part in the movie where he was fucking finally going to finally get some clues. Like, seriously. He, on the other hand, I probably disagreed a few times a little bit after when he didn't knew where the man even was. About, like, Paul, for some reason. Like, afterwards about that, I had to recently just keep watching the entire shit show for most likely to keep waiting and waiting until something got good. And then finally, some damn evidence finally got even more clear to be more likely understanding. Is, thank God, something was better to see. Which, seriously, I really am wanting to be the only person to be asking for this question and say is like, if the movie was supposed to be good, then why was it so bad that I didn't like the movie in the first place? It's because I never attempted to think it was better. Like, sure, the beginning got okay in the beginning, after when the guy had to drive out from the snow, that was the main character, that was Paul, that he was driving through the snow until something else happened, that him and his car were about to be flipped downside off the cliff until somebody started to save him, which was a lady. That, okay, well, at least I got a little bit some sense from the lady for a little bit, until that there was a few different incidents with that person, which I don't really get why how many movies have to be trash. I'm not saying all of them are. I'm just saying a few, some are sucked. A few are that I'm talking about. So that's just what I want to be pointing out the standing and make that fully completely have a big understanding here for that full reason, is that, seriously, the movie was just so freaking bad. Like, it's just so bad. Horrible. The worst movie I'd ever seen in my entire life that I had ever watched. And I think I may never want to rewatch it again for the fucking second time. That, oh, hell no. This would be me walking out the fucking door if I watched it again. Seriously, it's just so bad. I mean, sure, it was a few times a bit of cleaning, which I kind of recently enjoyed a little bit of the cleanliness for a little bit, but whenever it got too freaking much of whenever the lady was more insane, then she can't keep on helping the dude out. Seriously, it's just fucking bad. Like, it's just so effing garbage. Like, who wants to watch this shit show? Like, seriously, it was a complete waste of time that I'd ever watched. It took so many times out of boredom for many days now. For literally out how much of the hour time at the span time was even moving differently that I'd never even seen before. Which now I finally got to know one about it. And the only stupid thing I've always hated about was that she never went to the fucking hospital and got some fucking help to actually just get this guy to pretty much be fixed. That is pretty much his bones of his part of his body that was freaking broken. And plus, his legs too were also about to be broken too. Which, seriously, it's just so freaking painful to go through all that. Like, seriously, if I were the main character, I would have not fucking fallen off a cliff. Or basically drove the car off, basically near the snow of the avalanche. Which, how insane is that? Which I really don't know what to tell from anybody, from literally out of anybody's seats, for seeing how much likely, and if it's okay if anybody likes the movie of it or doesn't like it, but this is just my talk about my opinion. Like, seriously, don't like it? Then why watch the video? So, the only point I want to be saying throughout this conversation is that at least I think the movie kind of was funny. A little bit after when I moved it up to a 3 or somewhere, after when a few different jokes were kind of funny to put around in it, or just maybe a little bit of sense of romantic things that were flying a little bit like butterflies or whatever, that just kind of made sense for a little, but until then, some of them sucked ass for a bit. And then the only insane part that she did was that she broke his freaking legs and broke his feet with a freaking sledgehammer. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, what? There's no way you can't be doing that. Like, isn't it freaking bad? Like, seriously, it freaking is bad. Like, I don't even get why anymore. Like, seriously, this is literally me right now. Like, for how much reasons this really is like, seriously? Like, freaking seriously. How is this even an okay movie to watch? When literally it went so bad. Like, freaking God. Like, I don't know why the movie had to be such likely not to be a good movie at all. And plus, it was around the 19s-ish or something. I mean, a few of the 19s were trash, and a few of them were okay. But all I gotta say is just freaking why can't this lady understand what he's trying to tell her about? Which, I mean, she finally got a few cents in her head, but whenever some of them didn't, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, a few other times that there were a few WTFs, a few lots of me explaining the complaint a few times when some of them were about to a bit be nonsense for a bit. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, seriously. Like, this all could have been prevented if the sheriff was gonna have to try to figure this lady out before. But until then, he already did. Until I think Paul was the one who published a few bit of his books before the sheriff finally got a few copies and he was finally about to discover a little bit know where he even is in the house. And until then, there were a few bit of different things before I had to jump through all the way to the end cuts. I had to say, when the sheriff finally arrived to the lady's house, I'm like, yes, thank you, praise the Jesus Almighty, thank you, please. Can like, basically there was like two ways that the sheriff can do. Was either arrest the woman, or he could probably had her a little bit into sentenced to jail, which into pretty much in custody, or pretty much into the mental asylum. which I could finally have been more happier to see this, when the sheriff would have brought justice. But unfortunately, no. She shot him with a fucking shotgun. And I'm like, dude, what? You can't be doing this. Like, he was finally about to save the dude's life. And of course, now it had to be a waste of clock in the hour and the clock in the hour until some other ways around it that Paul had to finally discover her weakness a little bit by trying to get a little bit of some romantic stuff for a little bit to calm herself down, which I was likely to say he could finally save himself some time while beating her ass. Which apparently I don't even get why about the movie that had to be so much likely not sense at all to make things completely even clear. Which, seriously, I don't even get why. I just really don't even get why for the second of it. I just really don't get it. Really. So yeah, that's one reason why it pissed me off about that movie. I like seriously, the movie is just terrible. It's just freaking 2 out. It's just freaking 2 out of 10. Which seriously, I ain't changing that number up. I really ain't changing that number. Before I said it was about to be 3, I actually said now it's back down to 2 because the sheriff got freaking shot by the lady that he was about to save him down that in that basement. Like, seriously, what the frick was this? Like, I don't even get how the movie was even better, which I think I have to want to be criticizing it, by the way. I would rather criticize it that even hell, The Shining was even better than this freaking bullshit. Like, seriously, I'd rather take the guy from The Shining to make that even a better pleasant movie to see. That I would rather completely watch it besides the misery of nonsense of delusion. Like, it's just been waiting and waiting and waiting and got boring and boring for the less of the hour that he couldn't try to figure his way out of that house. And still, yet again, he tries not to get killed. And especially, I already hate that lady when she had to get a freaking needle to freaking do it on his freaking thing to make him pass out. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, Jesus. How did this ever win any better? Now, I'm going to talk about the few two teams that I'm pissed off about. Okay, so here we effing go right now. So, the NFL teams. That whenever when I said about my prediction, everybody, about this in my community post for everybody in my channel, well, I want to say is this. I want to say is, what the bullshit was this going on about? The freaking Kansas City Chiefs beat the damn fucking Texans. And I'm like, what the shit was that? And also, I actually want to give a middle finger to the freaking Kansas City as fuck off. Seriously, you guys won too many fucking times. Too many shitty times. Is also screw the frick off. Like, I cannot freaking believe that I have to be the only one completely raging out of this. Because thanks a lot again that I cannot believe Houston didn't even freaking try. Didn't even freaking try last time to beat Kansas. And I'm so freaking disappointed of NFL this year. That I'm so effing disappointed. That I am really disappointed right now from Houston. Like, Houston, where was it when you had it? Where was it that you had to ultimately defeat the Kansas City? Where was your win streak? Where was that? And oh, I forgot. It got me even angrier, which I can't believe the freaking BS that I had to suffer so many times while watching it. And I'm like, I literally had freaking watched it on live television. Then I watched it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm starting to hate Kansas City even completely more about it. Like, seriously, They won too many effing times. It's time that they need to freaking lose. And I don't even give two shits about Ivor saying is like, oh, I have to rechange my decision because they're pretty much likely a better team. Well, how about FUCKOFF? No. I seriously will never, and I mean never, like Kansas City again. Because they freaking won too many times in a row. Like, how can I even be pleased by this when this actually keeps being more shit? Like, I wanted the Texans to make it to the freaking Super Bowl. I wanted Houston to make it up there. Especially, I don't care if I had to use my raising voice in here. Because this I can't stand anymore. I cannot stand by, however, that new teams don't win anymore. Like, what the shit is this game? Like, what in the hell is this? Like, what is this? Gambling? What the hell? Like, this should have been really been all prevented if Houston would have been more stronger and faster to over defeat the Kansas City and have them completely eliminated as twice as the freaking Chargers suffered. Which good. I liked how the Texans played at that time. But when it was the other time, it was so bad that I've never liked this anyways. Because I've hated Kansas City by now, which is freaking great. And then another disappointment I actually want to point out here is freaking Detroit. Detroit, what were you guys thinking? Like, seriously, what were you guys thinking? Like, the Lions. And I mean, the Lions. The Lions! Where were you guys? Where were you when you guys had to finally catch your win streak? Where was your freaking win? Where was that? And I seriously can't believe how disappointing that this really turned out from another stupid nonsense of anyways. Like, Lions were the freaking goats to the season. They were freaking goats. And then now I see that going down the shit toilet. Like, Lions. Freaking Lions of Detroit. And even hell, I had to scream out my freaking lungs that I've never had gotten this angry in my entire life. That I've never had ever done. Which I've already did so many that I wanted two things to happen in the Super Bowl that was so gonna be better. Like a very better time. But what do I see? Horrible and awful. So completely awful I had ever watched and suffered for the entire thing I have ever seen. Like, it's not gonna matter anymore to me because it's freaking gone. It's freaking ruined. That I wanted that prediction completed. But no, it is incomplete. Terrible. That I may never like this again. And even hell, even if NFL comes around 2026, I'd be freaking disappointed already. Because if new teams doesn't start winning right the frick now, I am going to watch a different sport. Because I cannot freaking believe how awful this turned out to be. Which, for so many times of people, why do we need to relive more of this again? Why do we need to relive more winnings of old teams than there can't be new teams winning for any Super Bowls at all? Where is this BS? Like, this is completely BS. Like, thanks a lot, Kansas. Thanks a lot. And also, screw off. And also, if anybody's telling me by saying is like, oh, why do you hate Taylor Swift's team? Well, guess freaking what? I was going to like Taylor Swift's team if they would have not won too many times. But especially, they freaking did. And that is disappointing. That is literally disappointing. And I'm not surprised to what I'm going to have to say. It is not a surprise to me at all. I've seen so many BS nonsense that I could be literally sleeping from this, that I would rather fall asleep and not even pay attention. Like, this, I can't believe. I'd rather watch a freaking hockey game than to see more suffering from any of this. Or even hell, different sports that could have really would have got my brain not to think of any of this. But no, I had to be the one coming up in this stand and really start talking on this, which is completely ruined. Thanks, Kansas. Which I hope that your team effing loses. I hope that your team really loses so much that I don't even care which teams I'd rather cheer on anyway. Because, oh, you know what that is? It sucks. I will never, seriously, will cheer on for Kansas or freaking Commanders. Commanders ain't a real team. They were really a re-skinned of Redskins. Like, seriously, they're replaced Redskins. Like, how does the Redskins even feel about that? I mean, tell me that one question. How is this okay? How is it okay? How's it okay for Redskins to recall themselves the Commanders? Even hell, Redskins would rather been more appreciated than to hear from this. Because, oh, I would love to hear a lovely chat to know what was that about for having some reason to rechange their name into called to Commanders, not Redskins anymore. Like, it was appreciated for Redskins to be called that name. But unfortunately, it has to be a womp womp womp. It has to be that answer. Like, unfreaking believable. No wonder why that this is straightly going to be so making me angry. Because even hell, I'd rather make a top 5 hated team list that I would hate even more, that I don't even like. Which also, too freaking bad. Because this cannot stand for that long for me that I cannot believe this. Like, I'll even mention in my freaking vlog, which I probably will, because, again, here's a deal, and here's a freaking deal of a real deal. Here's this deal that I'm saying, is that deal one, if Texans finally beat Chiefs, I would have been yeehawing so freaking happy, like it's the freaking Texas. Like it's already the Texas of the yee-hi-ho, which is even better to use that kind of dance while using a rope of a freaking lasso. But unfortunately, that there got freaking destroyed by literally belatedly nothing. And then here's another deal. If Detroit would have started to stay up there, they would have not dropped their freaking balls on the ground and would have not freaking lose to a fake team that isn't a real team that is Commanders. Like, who even supports this? I don't think anybody can. Like, seriously, I was so disappointed in two teams. That is Houston and Detroit. That is so unbelievable. Gee, thanks. Now we got to relive the same thing again back from last year when freaking Kansas would have quit. But no, they continue to push themselves up. Like, who stands in this? Who stands? Which I know it's a little off topic for me to start completely, yapping for so many times. Like I said, I don't really care. I really don't care. Because this, I cannot believe anymore. Like, what am I supposed to believe anymore? Really? Like, freaking really? Sorry everybody. I just really want this off my chest just for this, for 3 times. 3 separate times. That it's the movie and the two freaking teams that should have been up there. But looks like the prediction is freaking over. Because I cannot believe why do I need to suffer again from stupid Kansas to win again for the 8th freaking time, which is unbelievable. Like, I swear, if Ravens would have caught up with them, I would be very pleased. But oh, I would have to say that it's going to have to be the Final Four brackets, which, guess what? I'm not going to watch or even talk about it anyways, because I know it's going to be a complete fun down trash cycle, that it's going to be so boring for me to watch. Like, I don't even care if it's good. It's just horrible that I never wanted to see that anyways. Freaking unbelievable. Of yet again, unbelievable. Thanks a lot. So, anyway, just wanted to be making this completely out of the way, and I will start making a top 5 hated team list, which I probably won't be making 10, I probably will be making 5. Because especially I don't hate all of the teams, I just only hate similar teams that freaking really annoy me and suck as well, because I don't think that this has been a very good team. Really. I would rather been supporting the freaking Texans. Because Texans were a freaking badass team this year. They were so freaking badass. They had to destroy each single team. That they even moved up to the 4th spot. And what do I see from Seattle? Nothing. Literally nothing at all. That my main team had to go down. Thanks a lot, Green Bay. Thanks freaking a lot. And no wondering why I hated Green Bay too. Because that team should have been freaking eliminated years ago. Well, they could definitely be taking on the freaking Eagles. Which is even more pathetic than I had to ever watch. So, let's just continue about the movie still. Which, even though I've kind of recently talked on this for a lot of minutes. For literally about that. For almost 27. Now, here's what I'm going to say that, again, the movie, at least, that I have to say, whenever that pole was finally healed again, he started beating the heck out of her anyway before he was about to lit the match on fire. Like he was about to set the things on fire. Like Paul, for example, he had to literally set the script on fire before the big reveal started to surprise me, and I'm like, damn, finally something came to be good. Which finally something came to be good. So damn. I was like, really, great job. Like it was about time that he finally defeated her this time. Which, thank you. He started getting fucking payback. Which she continued to keep on doing so. That she was mental ill. Literally so many effing times. Like, how is that even fair to the guy that should have had more chances? For him to still kind of actually keep responding to her in a very good way. But so far, she kept denying all of those, and she continues to probably be like, oh, she continues to be the mental person that she really was, and she refuses to probably let him out of the house, or even hell, try to even put him in a hospital, for example. Like, how? Like, fucking how? Is that even acceptable? Like, man, I just don't really believe it anymore. I really don't believe it anymore. So, all I gotta say, guys, is I hope that you guys know how I feel about that, how I feel about the movie. Which, seriously, I mean, the only movies I never freaking liked was if any of them weren't terrible. Which, if some of them were terrible, I recently still hate it. But if some of the movies weren't terrible, then I would be thumbing up for them. Because so far, the movie of Misery, I want to repeat this one last time. I give this 2 out of 10. Terrible, horrible show of a movie. That it was complete stupid. Very stupid. Because at this point, I really don't even care anymore about the movie. I really don't care. Like, I would rather watch the Shining movie, that he had to scare a person out the freaking door in the bathroom, than to watch the Misery movie. Because, I mean, trust me, the Shining movie of Jack would have been so much better than not to watch Jack squat of watching that Misery movie. Like, it had no action, it had nothing, It had quiet. It literally had no killing either, or no killings at all for many kill counts. So, all I gotta say is I hope that you guys understand what I'm talking about and fully understand why I hate the movie of pretty much Misery. So, yeah, I'm gonna probably make a roast out of Misery anyway by me saying it's like Misery, more like this mystery to me, or should I say mystery? Should I say Misery, more like stupid dumb misery to me. So, without that being said, is I hope to say this is I'm Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered. Thank you very much for enjoying this video, and yeah, sorry, I just really wanted to come up on this topic and really starting to like completely talk on this for why it was bad. It was a bad movie to begin with and a horrible movie to watch. Which I mean, I may have laughed a few times on the movie, which I may have laughed a few different ones that were a few similar ones I laughed to, but the rest of it was so horrible. Like the sheriff, I gave him a 9 out of 10, being fully based and being completely would have been a very good person and a very likely would have pretty much was using his head to probably know where the guy went. Which a few times that there were a few news reporters that had to talk on about like, oh, Paul was missing out of that car incident after when the car literally flipped on its head while upside down while a few bits of snow were covering that car, which was even pretty much likely to be moldy and so bad of that car that it was wasted for years until there was nothing left, which I really don't know why. I just really don't know how that was happening, but whatever. So, without that being said, guys, that I will see you guys soon in the next time, and then once recently again in the next video. And I'm Golden Devin Foxy Remastered, and the movie of this is so horrible. That's just my final last statement. That it's just so bad and it sucked. And then the only thing what sucked was NFL. It sucked too. Like, not only it sucked, but two teams that should have freaking won this entire thing in the bracket, that should have freaking won this thing, was Texans and Lions. Period. Like, my prediction is so ruined. Like, it's freaking ruined and it's done. That I can't believe it's incomplete. Very unbelievable. So, without that being said, is that even though I did want Ravens to win or whatever, but if they don't win, I really am not surprised. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter which teams are going to win anyway, it's going to suck already. You want to know why it sucks already? It's because they did not let the two new teams win the Super Bowl for one time. Unbelievable. So, that being said, I probably will get off for now and will say is thank you very much for watching. And there will be a video at time that I might actually be, making a few bit of the announcement talks about like, oh, the new thing in the computer room, with the sound bar that I might probably explain through on later if I do ever get a chance to hop on into that, which who really knows if my break is already done. But if my break isn't, then well, it's still going to be the deadline by February or March that I might return back to my first channel just because I had to deal with my mental problem and my mental health, which, like I said again, I definitely need the space and definitely need the time to reflect of whatever I'm going to do. And yeah, that's just what I'm going to say anyways. And just remember, when there's going to be number 7, I probably will react to the number 7 reaction. And then, of course, the extra reaction video will also still yet again be included afterwards. After that's done, then yes, I'll still mention that Left 4 Dead 2 will still rise once I get that part 1 to begin, as long as I do test the soundbar without it making it completely too extremely loud, not to kind of blow my eardrums. Then I hope to see how it's going to be in a good result, to see how it's going to play out and how it's really going to do the job. Which the TV computer, I'll still probably name it anyway, even though it's called a computer. I like to make the joke to think it's funny. That's just it. It's called a TV computer, and that's it. So without that being said, thank you very much for watching, and without that being said, is I'll pretty much be sure to see you guys again in the next video. Now, the only thing that I'm going to probably be making is either a 7th reaction video or maybe just make an update on the gaming thing with like the TV computer thing. That's going to change things, like the computer room, for example, that things are going to probably change for the differently. Which, oh yeah, there's just been two differences that finally I got a new TV and finally even got pretty much likely the same old TV that's now being replaced as the computer. Which, seriously, it's been for most likely 8 or 9 years. I've already had that TV whenever I was a kid. Which I'll probably explain that too for a little bit of like development of that explaining, of that completely explanations, or whatever. So with that being said, I'm Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered. I'll see you guys again soon in the next video. Like to be as always is like and comment and subscribe and the bell to be notified. Thank you. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye bye. See you next time and peace on out. Bye bye everybody. And for me, I gotta calm down my dang anger because the movie still was bad as to that day. It was still bad. And then two teams as well that I will no longer be appreciated again. That I would very much likely not be happy anymore. So much. Because I'm going to decide that I'm going to watch another sport. That is either basketball or baseball or even hell, hockey. That might be the only ones left that I would rather watch next. Even though, like I said, it's going to be different changes with me by seeing it's like, oh, if my favorite team loses, I probably would have to watch something different. So yes, there you go, different. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon in the next time. Anyways, Golden Devin-Foxy, remastered to like be always. We'll see you soon in the next time, and then yet again in the next video. Either will be the 7th reaction that I'll react to 7 out of 7, or probably will be an explaining of an update that will be very different things, with more gaming stuff, which recently it's just going to probably be another step, a step forward to be stepped. Even though like the computer's already been replaced to a TV computer, which yes, it was a replacement anyway to replace, which I probably would be recently saying otherwise. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you fully for understanding for how I feel about it, and fully understanding what I had to talk about, the ways I'll have to talk about. And yeah, so you probably will get another Devin vlog soon, as I probably will be mentioning my 5 top hated teams ever. And I say ever. So anyway, thank you and adios. Bye bye. Peace out, everyone. See you next time. Golden Devin-Foxy Remastered will say this: like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified so that you do not miss a single video that comes on this channel. Anyways, goodbye, everybody, and see you later, and bye-bye. Later, everyone, and see you next time. Peace on out. Later, everyone. Adios. Again. Bye-bye, everyone. See you later.